2021 BMC SLR-01 in a size 54, weighing at 15 pounds, 9 ounces. And in kilos, 7.8 kilos, 7.0 kilos. That's with pedals and cages. I'm shaking. Stay tuned after a video. We'll hear our free body sound test on those Dura-Ace wheels, C50 right there. Thank you. Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video. Today I have for you guys this 2021 BMC SLR-01 with the brand new Dura-Ace 12-speed on here. And something cool about this is that it actually has the new Dura-Ace C50 wheel set on there. My first time I actually got to see it. This is the Shimano Rep Spike that he was so kindly enough to let me make a video on it. I got to learn some new tips and tricks on the whole Grupo, so I figured I'd share that knowledge with you guys as well, and also get to take a chance to look at this beautiful looking BMC SLR-01. Gorgeous looking bike. All this is really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over the bike with you first, and then I'll kind of go over the little tips I learned with you guys. So this is their, starting off with the cockpit, you have the integrated handlebar and stem combo, full carbon fiber, with the hydraulic hoses for the brakes being ran into the handlebar, through the stem, down the frame, where they're met at the front brake caliper here, and they're met at the rear brake caliper right there as well. So now with this new Grupo as well, it is a full wireless system for the shifters up here, so there is no more cables that are ran for the Di2 running. But if you wanted to, you can actually hook up a Di2 cable and run it to the battery if you wanted more power to be ran without the 1632C battery. Going down to the front of the bike, we have the BMC logo right there, and then we have the Dura-Ace C50 wheels, which are a very cool wheel set. They released 3 wheel sets on here. They have the C30s, the C50s, and the C60s. The C50 is kind of their mid-range bike with a 50mm carbon dish rim. Yeah, so the C50 deep dish wheels are kind of like they're all around. It's a 21mm internal width on there as well. They are a clincher tire, so they can be run with tubes, but this the gentleman has them set up with a tubeless setup, and he's running an NV 700/29 tire as well. They are running their, I believe they're, yeah, a bladed spoke on here, and then they have their own Shimano Dura-Ace hubs on here as well. They make them in an Ultegra version, and retail for it is $2,100. You can buy them in pairs. You can buy them in a single set, because you can run a 50 in the front if you want to. You can run a 60 in the rear. You can buy the 30s in the front and run a 50 in the rear, or you can buy it set together. But very nice. No ceramic bearings, so just normal bearings. And one thing I just learned about them today is that they actually have no rider weight limit on there as well. But just be mindful in that. But yeah, no rider weight limit. It's one of the first wheels I actually heard that they offer that. So very cool. Aggressive pricing for a Dura-Ace wheel set, and they look very mean. I like the new logos. I like how they're more minimalistic. Very, very nice. So a tubeless setup bike, 7 kilos with cages and bottles and everything like that. Very nice job. BMC paint job, we have the rocket red up top here. Fades in with the, there we go. The rocket red paint job fades in with the navy blue, and it kind of goes from a gloss to a matte finish on the top, which is really cool. It is a size 54, like I mentioned before. We have the bottle cages already on there. And then if we go on down here, we have the BMC logo with the SLR as well. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, new Dura-Ace brake calipers as well. They revised these to make them a little bit more open up here, a little bit lighter weight, and they're going to cause less heat or better heat dissipation as well with the bigger holes cut out. They also redesigned the brake calipers for the new Dura-Ace, 10% wire they said, and there's no more bleed nipple, so they actually have a threaded bleed port in here as well to make bleeding a little bit easier. But the benefit to it being a little bit wider is that when you're riding in rain, grit, sand, whatever it is, you're not going to get as much of that kind of that soggy brake rub that no one really likes. So much better job with the actuation, much better job being a little bit wider, and it just makes it all around better experience for the rider. Going to the shifters as well, we have on here the Dura-Ace shifters. It has a longer hood scoop right here. The hood is a little bit taller as well, and then we have the brake in the brake shifter as well. They went away from this, and then they made the paddle shifting here where the abrasion is for the upshift and the downshift. And then, I never knew this, but they actually have a battery gauge right here. So this is a wireless shifter, and has a 1632 battery inside here. And the rep was telling me that you can actually press and hold here. It's very faint. You can probably do it inside, but it's very faint. You can actually get a battery reading on there. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Actually, hold on. Gonna show up? No. Let me see. It's so faint right now. It's very hard to see. I can't get it, but If you go ahead and press and hold the buttons inside, you'll see that the shifter has a very faint LED light. A green light will be that it's above 5%. If it's a red light, you need to change the battery out to make it the wireless setting. But they, like I said, made this shifter a little bit longer. They got the redesign from the GRX system. You have the button to control your Garmin mapping, everything like that. And then you have the redesigned, the more canted brake hood and shifter right here. And also it's more ergonomic to have a more natural resting position when you're riding right here. But all in all, if you guys have not felt the brakes on here, when you actually go to actuate these, it is much better than the 11 speed that was, and they did a really good job on that. I mean, I know it's dumb to say, but me working on them all day, it's something you notice right away when you get to play with them all day. So very cool. You have the new Dura-Ace cranks right here. They come with, this one is a 5236. They come made in a 5034, a 5236, and a 5440 as well now. So a stock option, you can get a 5440. They also said that they changed with this crank design as well. They use a different resin application to make it stronger. There will be a power meter version of this as well. Same spindle type, and the chain rings are the same, I believe, as there's not a lot of changes to the crank. I think they said they made it a little bit heavier this year. I think it was 34 grams they made heavier compared to last year's 11 speed, but they want to make sure this thing was strong enough to hold up. They also have the Dura-Ace front derailleur on here as well. It's a brand new, not as big of a junction box in here. And cool thing about the Dura-Ace front derailleur is that it's all adjusted now for the trimming. You can either adjust it mechanically with your shifters, or you can adjust it on the app to tear. There's no more high and low limit screws. So the way you adjust it is if you're in the big chainring here, you put it into the small chainring down here, and then you can actually hold this button, which will put it into you'll get a yellow LED indication light. You can then tear it to how far over you want to make sure you have clearance for no chain rub. And then you would take it and put it into the big chainring up here. While it's in big and big, you press and hold this button again to get into the yellow LED light to indicate again, and then you would tear it to make sure there's no chain rub as well. Very cool on the fly stuff, so that way you have no more issues. You don't have to worry about adjusting the limit screws in there. Or if you went to the app, you can kind of configure that as well. The chain is a 12-speed chain. It's the same chain as the XTR and same chain as the XT for the Ultegra. Going to the back, you have the redesign to the rear derailleur, a little bit longer cage. Same pulley teeth count, but you can see that they have a little bit more of a bigger teeth grab as well. And the rear, it's a 1130 cassette. They're gonna make a 1128, 1130, and also 1134 for those big climbing gears. Another thing I just learned, that the Di2 wires are actually new wires where they connect to. It is a complete new wire, so the wires are not transferable. The only kind of backwards compatibility there is that the tri-shifting for the TT buttons is going to be the only thing that you're going to use an adapter for. They have an adapter. But the batteries are brand new, the wires are brand new, so there is no more backwards compatibility. This wire plugs into a battery in the C-post. This wire plugs into a battery in the C-post, and there's a battery in there now that has 3 spots. There's no more junction B needed. These batteries plug directly into there, and the only thing the rep was saying is that for the rear derailleur, you probably recommend running a 1400 cable, and for the front derailleur, an 800 cable, because of the fact that now they're plugged directly into there. You want enough space that if you were to adjust the C-post or take out the C-post, you don't want to have someone holding the bike while doing this, or the wires be too short, something like that. So keep that in mind. Your charging ports back here. This is going to be the same charging application you use for a power meter crank by Dura-Ace as well. Very easy to hook on and on. You have your high and low limit adjustments right here. And let's see if I can play with this. Where is the button at for the, sorry, give me 1 second. Where'd you go? Right here. So you have the blue light, you have a green light. That's your yellow light to put it into the front derailleur adjustment mode. And blue light is again for the pairing as well. So a solid blue light, I believe, is going to be, actually, no, I think flat. Okay, yeah, so the way you have charging now, when it's flashing green light, it's in between 25 to 50% battery. When it's red light, it's under 25%. And when it's solid green, it's above 50 to 100% battery life. Same wheel in the back as a Dura-Ace C50 wheel in the rear. 20mm internal width, bladed spokes, and then you guys will hear a free body sound test at the end of the video with the gearing on there as well. Very cool stuff. Rear rotor is a Shimano Dura-Ace 140 rotor. The reason why he says running this just because of availability, but he will attempt to get the new disc brake rotor on there as soon as he can. And then you have the revised disc brake caliper on the rear as well. But yeah, I mean, all in all, Very cool bike. I'm very excited to get to play with this. It's my job to play this stuff. I get to see it. I know it seems kind of a rush and kind of fast paced, everything I learned, but it's cool to have these reps come by, knowledge you on it, get to play with it. This is what I get paid to do, so I love my job. So again, thank you. Big shout out to Shimano for coming by today. Big shout out to the rep fresh, letting me get to play with the bike and learning some knowledge on it. And yeah, you guys will hear the free body sound test on this wheel right now. Thank you guys. Bye. All right, guys, so we got here the new Dura-Ace C50 rear wheel with the Dura-Ace hub on here as well. Here comes the free body sound test right now. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.